Mala. Woohoo!
Yep, that's me.
So listen, I'm coming to talk to y'all real quick, girl, because Twitter is ablaze right now, and we need to talk. This Lizzo situation is beyond me right now. Like, I feel so duped that Lizzo was such a nice person and she loved body positivity. And after being bullied online, she decided that I'm believing all of the things. And, everybody is split and I don't know everything, but I'm gonna give my 2 cents like everybody else. So this is gonna be like a meeting in the ladies' room real quick where you just spill some tea real quick. And I just feel like it's 37 pages. Like this isn't just like, oh, she was mean to me. This is girl, it's bananas are involved. Okay, it's weird and then the dance captain. I'm gonna get to her because she is the type I do not like. There are 9 complaints total, so I'm gonna read them off to you. Some of these complaints are about Lizzo solely, and then others are about the dance captain. And Lizzo has, I'm not gonna say nothing because her production company is involved, but girl. So hostile work environment is the first one. Failure to remedy said hostile work environment. The third one is religious harassment, which I didn't even know existed. And if I did, I would have been filed something on the Jehovah's Witnesses who won't leave my front door alone. Listen, love who you love. I'm here for Jehovah's return. But some of y'all, girl, I didn't know this was religious harassment. Who knew? Next is failure to remedy said religious harassment. Then it's racial harassment, which, girl, what is you doing? Then it's disability discrimination, which, girl, you don't want it with that. You know you don't, right? It's assault, intentional interference with prospective economic. And the last one is false imprisonment. What in the pipa are you doing, Lizzo? The girls are stating that it was a very hostile work environment and they were body shamed, which is crazy, right? Lizzo gets body shamed every day. So for that to even be a thing is like, what are we doing? Now, I understand to a certain degree, although her dancers are, thicker women, that they can't go over a certain size because they still have to work. You get what I'm saying? Like, we all know the more weight that you have on you, it's going to be harder for you to move. And this is a tour. This isn't a venue. You're not doing a VMA performance. This is a tour, which means that if it's not every night, it's every other night. So you need to be at a certain weight and you need to stay there. And it's the same thing for smaller dancers. But the thing that throws me off about this is the fact the way in which it was done. And for Lizzo to be a person who is all about body positivity, there's a way to get things across without trying to hurt people's feelings, as if she's not crying all the time about people hurting her feelings. And I've listened to Lizzo's come up. I've heard about the things she go through, living in her car, and then to see where she's come is a beautiful thing. She's worked really hard to get to where she is. But unfortunately, this seems like the same tale as old as time, which is, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful to her, but when you were not that girl coming up in life and you become that girl, you become the oppressor that oppressed you. And now you want to now have an ego trip and treat people like they're not anything. And if what they're alleging is true, which I don't see why they would lie, then it's very disappointing to hear. Because why would you have these young ladies come to you and saying, for a lot of them that are dancers, they probably would have never got this opportunity, and this will come on later in this video, but they wouldn't have got the opportunities in which they wanted as thicker, larger women. Everybody's not, Beyonce's done it recently, but it's not a very common thing. So they, 2 of the girls were on her show. One of the young ladies came afterwards, and people are now saying, oh, well, it seems like because they got fired, all of a sudden they want to start talking. It's like, how many people do you know who are going to sue the job while they're still on the job? They wait for you to be out of that situation in order to figure out what your legal options are if you feel as an employee you were done wrong and disrespectfully. And what throws me off, especially about a lot of people in the comments who are saying, and again, I'm not taking necessary sides so much, but I'm leaning towards the girls more than I'm leaning towards Lizzo, because at the end of the day, it seems like she kind of has a track record in doing stuff like this, as far as what people are saying that are coming out. Because we'll get to the director. She's a Oscar nominated director who says she left after 2 weeks because of how self-centered and disrespectful Lizzo was towards her. I want y'all to really think about the girls in this situation, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's always protect black women until it's a black woman that's doing the disrespecting that you like. And that's where I have the issue and the problem. These young girls probably looked up to this woman and they loved her, and they thought they were going to be in a situation that was going to truly change their life, only to find out that it was everything but that. Nobody wants to be in a situation where they feel like they're being taken advantage of in a lot of different ways. And when you allow this to fester, which is again the unable to remedy said situations, it says a lot. The one girl, Ariana, said that, she's a virgin, and the dance captain, who seems to be the religious Jesus freak, and I'm not saying that to be, disrespectful, but some people can't take it, overboard. And she did an Instagram video that just really grinded my gears. And I'm not against any religion. I'm not against anybody feeling like this is who I serve. I pray every night, and I thank the Lord for all that I have and keeping people safe. That's my own personal relationship. But I don't try to push it down people's throats, because again, there are people who just simply aren't religious, and you have to respect that. Trying to convert people into what you believe just does not work, especially when I'm at work. This is my job, and now you're trying to convince me in something that's not in my job description, which is already a red flag. Lizzo as a person has a lot on her shoulders, but she also is responsible for the people that are around her and that she employs, just like Beyonce is responsible for everybody on that stage. So whether somebody falls, Lord forbid, and breaks something, Beyonce will be held liable for that, because they're under her tutelage, and this lady is under Lizzo. One of the girls said Lizzo cracked her knuckles at her one day and said, "You better be happy. You better," what I'm saying? And through the F, the middle fingers up her and F you and all of this other stuff. And it's like, this is what you're doing to people who you're employing. Like, this can't be okay. And a lot of these people are scared. These girls are scared. Y'all, I wouldn't have let nobody talk to me like that. Which is funny that y'all say that, because a lot of y'all are sitting at work right now listening to this video at jobs that you hate, and you don't like your boss or your other fellow employees, but you're not going to get up and walk out because you need your check. So I don't understand why now, because the tables are turned and it's a celebrity now. It's because I wouldn't have let her talk to me like that. If you wanted your lights on, you would. If you wanted to be able to put this on your resume, you would. Like I said before, these girls have been in situations where they probably feel like, I won't get another opportunity. So if they would have ran the social media with this, y'all would have said y'all should have talked to a lawyer. Now that they've talked to a lawyer, it's, you should have just, told people. Why you didn't say it when it happened? Which to me is the most gratuitous thing that you could ever say about someone. Because just because something happens to me today doesn't mean that I'm ready to deal with that today. A lot of y'all have past trauma that y'all tuck away because you don't want to deal with it in a moment, because that having to deal with that right now may mess you up for what you have to do. And a lot of us don't have, somebody to lean back on and say, well, this might put me in a bad situation, but I'm going to do it. Because no, you have to do what you have to do. I've had plenty of jobs where I hated getting up in the morning to go in the afternoon to deal with, to talk about. That's why I took a break from this, because it just became too much. And luckily I had the financial means to do so, but everybody's not in that situation. Even if the situation is very toxic, and most work environments unfortunately are toxic. So, Lizzo has all of these people believing that she's one way, but these people are saying she's not. The lady who was doing the documentary for her tour said I had to go because she's not a nice person. She's not what she shows herself to be, and that is a problem. Now I understand reprimanding people and saying, they said that the girls were drinking beforehand. Okay, that's a problem, because you cannot be drinking on the job, girls. But to give them a 12-hour rehearsal and they had to re-audition because you felt or you had some proof or not some proof about them actually drinking on the job, it's just ridiculous. Like, that's military behavior, and she wouldn't want nobody to do that to her. And it feels like she's abusing her power because now she's like, I'm that girl, I'm this, I'm this, I'm that. So the Lizzo that I heard her story about what she went through seems like she's exited the building. And it seems like Lizzo, the superstar, Lizzo, the person who's making all of these body positivity songs. I loved her song Pink in the Barbie movie. I thought it was great. I thought she was a great narrator for the music portion of the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, it's great. It's great. It's a good movie. No, I'm not reviewing it, but yeah. So I just feel like for you to have all these great things happen and then you have people who are trying to defend the behavior. Listen, I like who I like, but wrong is wrong and right is right. These young black girls were looking for an opportunity to move forward. If you had an issue with their weight, then you sit down and have a conversation and be like, listen, I understand there's a way to do it. Now, I don't know if these conversations had come up prior to this and maybe she did talk to him and they just didn't care. I don't know. But for you to be about body positivity, there's a way to remedy these issues. And it seemed like they just simply was not done. Now people are like, well, people just want to file lawsuits about anything. Listen, you have the right to file lawsuits about anything. When I was in beauty school, they was like, especially being here in California and LA, this is Sue City. You can sue for any and everything. But I don't feel like what they're suing for in this situation is necessarily wrong. Okay, so one was dismissed or two were dismissed. I don't remember, girl. It's a lot. But I know that someone was let go, and then because of that person being let go, I believe the other girl said the way that it was done turned her off, so she was sending her resignation like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. A lot of people are speaking up, and I find it funny because it's like, I doubt these people was like, when August 1st hits, we're going to tear Lizzo up. We're just going to get together and try to ruin Lizzo's career. No, not at all. She represents a lot for a lot of people. So it's very unfortunate that this is the situation. But this is one of the reasons why y'all always say, why don't you work with celebrities? Why? You should do a lot of celebrities here. And this is why. Because when you become an employee of someone, they feel like they own stake over you. They feel like they own your body autonomy. She's taking them to brothels, if you will, and forcing them to try to rub on the new dancers and things of that nature. That is not okay. And people are like, well, I just simply wouldn't have did it. Well, again, let's go back to toxic work environment. If you don't do it, there will be repercussions. I told you she was cracking her knuckles at the girl. Okay, you better touch them. You better, this is toxic. So you're fearful for your job. At the end of the day, this is a job and you can be let go from said job, which then affects your income. A lot of these people probably have people relying on them in order to bring that money home, just like y'all do. So you're not going to go in your office today, even though Charlene been getting on your motherfucking nerves, and tell your boss, Charlene, bitch, knuckle up. You're not going to do that because you know for a fact that your bottom line, which is money, which they're banking on, they know you're not going to do it. And that's why they abuse it. And this is why abuse like this of power goes on for so long. Because when you have a person sitting in your lap and you are dangling their future in their face, they know for a fact that if I do say something, it's going to be a problem. Now to the dance captain. Her name is Misty Quigley. And I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? And I'm going to tell you why. Because there's another annoying person named Misty Quigley on Yellow Jackets. So this is, again, I love Christina Ricci, but Misty, my nerves. When she found out one of the young ladies was a virgin, and she seemed like she just got a kick out of that and was pouncing on her about it and kept bringing it up, and she wants to keep talking about God every 5 minutes. Like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with you loving who you like and serving and all that good stuff. That's fine. But the problem that I have with people like her is that you are trying to force something to someone who probably have told you more than once to leave it alone and knock it off, lady. Okay? You're getting on my nerves. I'm here to dance. Stop. You're not here to, lecture me and preach to me about serving the Lord. Worry about yourself. I'm here for the 5, 6, 7, 8. And they said that she would talk to them about having premarital sex. Like, girl, what I do in my box ain't none of your business. Girl, we're about fixing that tooth. Like, what are you talking about? So she did a video and was like, God loves you, and I want to say that I'm so blessed to have been on tour. And the thing that irritates me with people, especially people who are overly religious, they hide behind the guise of God in order to just be very, very nasty, vile people. And that pisses me off, because as a person who has my own relationship with the Lord, I hate when people want to say, well, I'm going to give it to God. No, you need to give it to yourself, because God gave you common sense. So use it, girl. What are you doing? This is not okay. It's not. No matter what I believe in, I'm not going to try to force you to believe it, especially when you're here to do a job. So then they said, but on top of that, I don't understand how this woman and Lizzo was even working together when Lizzo was taking people to brothels and you're talking about being celibate and not having sex before marriage. It doesn't make any sense. Then they said she would talk about pleasurable things she liked to do, and she liked to use examples on bananas. So you, in one breath, are saying you shouldn't have premarital sex, and then the next breath, you're deep throating bananas? And you want to go and then have bananas, and it gets graphic. I just don't want to go into it. But there's a banana and bodily fluids involved in this. You can read it. I just don't want to, but it's gross. It just shows that there's an abuse of power. That's just what it shows. It shows that there's a big abuse of power here. And I really don't like that at the end of the day, that when it's somebody that you like, you don't want to hold them accountable. That seems to be the biggest thing in the black community, is that you don't want to hold your heroes accountable. Again, they filed the lawsuit. Lizzo hasn't said anything yet, but what do you say? What do you say? Oh, well, they don't want to work and they mad because they got fired. Yeah, you would too. Especially if you felt like you were fired simply because you didn't want to adhere to things that were not in your job description, or things that you didn't morally feel like they were okay. If I don't want to touch a stripper's body, I don't want to. And I'm not going to. And again, these girls, and this is what we talk about when there's a power imbalance. She was treating them like they were friends when it seemed like they were more so like, that's my boss. And I don't feel comfortable with that. Every job that I've ever had, I'm not partying. I keep a very big distance between the two. But this isn't a 9-to-5 job. This isn't a regular job where you punch in and you punch out. You're with these people on a regular basis. You spend more time with these people than you do your own family. So you do have relationships with them, but having that relationship with people does not give you the guides to just do what you want with their body autonomy, and tell them, if you don't do this, there will be repercussions. If you say that this makes me uncomfortable, I'm not to be threatened because of this. A lot of these girls just simply want to dance. That's what they want to do. They just want to dance. I don't want to do anything else. But Lizzo strikes me as the type of person that if you don't do what I say, you're going to go out because I want to go out. I'm employing you, so you will go out. Have I know for this to be true? No, but based on what I'm reading and what these people have said, then it seems like that's what's going on here. So I'm going to read what the director in her Instagram statement. Sharing this because validating other black women's experience is deeply important to me. I usually do not comment on anything pop culture related. In 2019, I traveled a bit with Lizzo to be the director of her documentary. I walked away after about 2 weeks. I was treated with such disrespect by her. I witnessed how arrogant, self-centered, and unkind she is. I was not protected and was thrown into a situation with little support. My spirit said to run as fast as you can, and I'm so grateful I trusted my gut. I felt gaslit and I was deeply hurt, but I've healed. Reading these reports made me realize how dangerous of a situation it was. This kind of abuse of power happens far too often. Much love and support to the dancers. So, what do you guys feel? Do you feel like the girls they should be suing? Do you think it's that serious? Do you think that wait till Lizzo actually says something? Do you feel like her and Misty Quigley was just trying to spread positivity and the Lord's word and, trying to help these girls be the best them that they can be? Or do you think that everything is said is true? Put it down below and let me know.